Let's try this again. Let's see what we will go for this time. Should probably get a weapon. Probably not salvo. We have done flak last time, even though we didn't use it a whole lot. Let's try this thermal lance. Charge up and sustain a focused lance of heat to burn targets and make them vulnerable to further damage. While sustaining thermal lance, you also fire twisting sparks that are affected by your projectile mods. Thermal lance and its sparks ignite targets for burning damage. Damage from thermal lance and its sparks apply vulnerability to targets. Modifiers to blast radius and rate of fire affect thermal lance charge rate. Reduce thrust and rotation speed while charging. Thermal lance damage scales with charge level. Spark damage is rather low. Rate of fire is really high though. Okay. Shield. There's Halo again, Reflect and Shockwave. Let's go for Reflect this time. Reflects enemy projectiles with booster power. Enemies within your shield effect radius are targeted. Plus 900% damage and plus 50% velocity to affected enemy projectiles. And also a slightly above average shield power. Carrier, Engineer and Spectre. I'm not sure if Spectre will work well with this weapon. You know what? I'll reroll. Sentinel. Shield damage resistant. Shield effect radius. Shield effect power but lower rate of fire. That could be something. Plus 3 projectiles for projectile weapons. Weapon damage and projectile size but lower spread. Resists knockback. Projectiles are divided between broadside cannons. What? Flat rate of fire delay and rate of fire. We don't use projectiles. Let's go with Sentinel. Have a strong shield. And maybe use the enemy's weapon against them. Oops, I don't have stabilize yet. Shield durability. Phantom strike. There's also ally. Spontaneous generation. When an enemy is killed, there is a chance to spawn one or more swarm construct from its wreck. Greater the maximum health, the greater the chance one or multiple swarm constructs are created. Let's go for shields, I guess. How do I scale the thermal lance best? Probably nice to have burning damage, I guess. We can also scale the spark projectiles, I suppose, but these seem to be a relatively minor part. Although the damage of the thermal lance is already quite high. Blast radius, shield cooldown, turret. How do additional projectiles affect the sparks, huh? Targeting doesn't seem too relevant, nor does blast radius. Projectile size doesn't benefit us, but weapon damage certainly does. Rate of fire. You don't get 3 lances, as nice as that would be. Yeah. Let's go with rate of fire so we can charge this thing a bit quicker. Burst fire. That probably only affects... Well, the rate of fire should affect our lance charging as well. Let's go for a... That does seem to be the case. These these sparks don't seem to be affected by burst fire at all. I definitely wanna spec into burn damage again, I think. Can we have a longer lance? How does it work again? Blast radius and rate of fire affect thermal lance charge rate. Maybe with more projectile, well, more velocity or something? Not sure. Reflexive shields. Targeting. Stabilization again? Yeah, I think precision is important. There is Candescence. These sparks seem to still ignite enemies. So I guess that's their main purpose, even though their base damage is pretty low. Alright, I have stabilization now, so I should make use of it. Corrosion seems very important for this build. Volley? Probably not. Velocity? We can try. At least it's some weapon damage. Shield effect radius. And power, that means we will reflect enemy projectiles even stronger. You know what, I'm gonna go for barrier here. We might wanna reflect some powerful enemy projectiles with this shield. So it could be nice to be able to do so without losing the entire shield in a single hit or anything like that. Perch? Maybe we could just try ramming into enemies while channeling our lance. Could be something. Then we probably need some regen. Sentinel is shield effect, radius, and power. Let's get regen here. Oh, there's this guy. Can we burn the weak points from outside? That certainly seems to be the case. Although I think inside is still a bit better. And let's get out of here. Alright, we can reflect these things, of course. Oh, give me your loot. It's time to burn down the enemy boss. Ah. No! There was still some projectiles there. I thought those were XP orbs or something. Whoops. More rerolls. Didn't get too far. Not gonna name this. Ooh, that was rough. Let's do another run. Railgun. Fire high velocity, long range projectile. Projectiles penetrate, destroy targets, creating a spray of shrapnel and dealing blast damage. Damage scales with projectile velocity. Damage is extremely high. Shrapnel damage 25% of base. Count scales with projectile size divided between projectiles fired. Rate of fire is decently high. Well, that's not great against enemy swarms, but it works for now. Amp, I like the idea of that. Maybe warp for defensive. Increased thrust and total weapon damage while the shield is active. Let's go for that. Very aggressive shield. Low shield power, but nice boosts to our offense. And mobility as well. Battery. Okay. Let's try out battery. Wonder how this works. Ooh. So we no longer fire from the front at all. We only fire from the sides. That will require some getting used to. But I think I see a lot of potential with this. Magnitude makes a lot of sense. Make our big hits even bigger. Blast radius. How does that benefit railgun again? Probably the shrapnel. Let's go with magnitude here. Just have those huge shots. I think I want some rate of fire upgrades. Splinter? Huh. Targeting could help. I think I want hull strength eventually. But right now I need better coverage. Targeting could help, but I'm not sure if that's really what I want. Rate of fire would definitely help. Let's take that. How can I miss so much? So many projectiles, so many ways to miss a screen full of enemies. Yeah, volley seems very important. Burst fire? Huh. Ooh. Velocity? Yeah, our damage scales with velocity, so let's take that. Snipe also seems really good. Let's take snipe as well. Now our targeting lines do actually at least give us one shot's trajectory. Good thing we have a decent hull. Payload. More damage, more weapon size, more blast radius, but lower rate of fire. Maybe I want some blast radius to take out groups of enemies. Non-explosive projectiles deal 15% damage as blast damage to other targets. Triggers when the projectile is destroyed on impact. Well, our projectile pierces, so maybe that doesn't even work. But we have the shrapnel anyways. Let's go with payload. Larger projectiles means we have an easier time hitting. Well, battery is definitely a very unusual playstyle. At least with this weapon. Oh god. This boss again. Well, we should be able to deal massive damage from inside. With all these shots hitting something. And indeed we do. That was very good. Firing array. Total projectile damage and blast radius for the central projectile in your volley. 30% total projectile size for the central projectile and increased spread. That is interesting. Sure. Charge shot, better not. Regen would be nice. Let's take regen. Fusillade. Double base projectiles plus 1 projectile. Reduced blast radius and projectile damage. Increased size and velocity. No, decreased size and velocity. Increased spread. Okay, sure. Let's fire many railguns. Which is the central one? I have no idea. Our shield cooldown is very long. Our shield is not our main defense, so let's go with hull strength for some more defense. Incendiary strike seems reasonable. Targets hit by your weapons are ignited for % of hit damage. Because we have pretty high damage hit, so the burn would be quite significant. Maybe Splinter for some better group coverage. Spread, I don't think we bother too much with reducing spread. Let's go with Splinter. Okay. Well, lower spread would allow us to hit large targets with more shots, so maybe it is something we're interested in. Juggernaut is... Sure, let's pick Juggernaut as well. For some more damage resistance and hull. Is it time to pick blast radius? I think so. These projectiles still seem very strong. Oh, that guy just straight up slammed into us. Maybe it's time to get focus fire. That would be useful against an enemy like this, I guess. Well, let's get out of the way of his thermal lance. Ooh, that's a large lance you got there. Oof. That was a dangerous maneuver. Ouch! Didn't think that would outright kill us. Elite enemy? New challenge mode? Okay, phew. That was tough. I don't think I want to turn on elite enemy. Encounters are nastier and the random chance that enemies are elite or champions is increased. I do think danger zone and enemy territory are fine. They don't really increase the danger the individual enemies pose. I feel Raygun is one of the weapons that most needs time to become strong enough for mid-game. Okay. Yeah, that's very possible. It was definitely a bit an awkward weapon. Weapon Torrent. Deploy a close-range, widespread, rapid-fire lattice of energy. Projectiles travel in waves and degenerate over time. Reduce thrust while firing. Projectiles 3x2. High rate of fire. Okay damage. Or Grenade. Launch an explosive cluster grenade. Explodes on impact or after a delay. After the initial blast, cluster explosives pepper the area. Cluster coverage scales with blast radius. Let's go with something explosive for once. Okay, that seems decent. Not that easy to aim with these things. Temporal. Targets and projectiles within the shield's effect radius are greatly slowed. I'm gonna go with Warp this time. Spectre? Maybe it's... yeah, it's finally time to try out Spectre. Let's do... backstabs. Slowly. Okay, what do we want? Blast radius for sure. What? Velocity, maybe. Volley. Volley seems good. Let's fire many grenades. Cluster of cluster grenades. That is not an easy weapon to use. Concentrated blast. Rapid fire. Rapid fire seems nice. Projectile spread reduction is not that necessary right now. These things aren't too spread out anyways. Let's go with rapid fire. Magnitude. I think that's perfect. High explosive, I think we want that. Firing array. Increases the blast size again. Only for one of our projectiles, but maybe that's good enough. Payload. Even more blast size. Weapon damage. Yeah, these are some nice grenades. Thrust warpath. Splinter. Splinter seems fun. With this weapon. Ah, now our grenades launch grenades. Yes. So many explosions. Projectile size increase will also increase the cluster explosions. Okay. Even more projectiles, but lower blast radius. And lower projectile size. Burst fire? Ooh. I think we're already bursty enough as is. I don't think burst fire is a great idea here. Weapon damage and projectile size. Reduced rate of fire, weapon recoil, and projectile velocity. Let's go Fusillade. What do we do for our defense? Our shield has 90. Our body has 100 health. Let's get regen. Targeting. It might help, but I don't know how much it works with grenades. Let's go with health strength. This damage is quite relevant. Yeah, we definitely have good area coverage. That works wonders against these worms, for sure. Juggernaut, I like. Regenerative shields. It's probably not a bad thing. Shield effect radius. Shield effect, I don't think we care about it too much. Let's go with Juggernaut. Absorption seems good. Whoop. We triggered our shield ability there with the warp. Ah! That was a bit too much. I got kicked around the map. These asteroids ramming me there was definitely not fun. Definitely a common way for me to die. Yeah, I can imagine. If you get hit by such a large recoil effect, then suddenly you lose control of your ship, don't exactly know how to maneuver out of your position. Let's try this vortex thing now. Charging vortex causes hull damage. So we definitely want to make sure that we can reduce or regenerate our hull pretty well. Or maybe even reduce the self-damage. The hull damage seems to be quite low though. It ramps up though. Ooh, that's... Yep. Halo Bastion. Deploy an arc-shaped, regenerative physical barrier. While Bastion protects you, it converts block damage to stored energy, granting hull damage resistance. When you take hull damage, the energy is discharged in a wave. Modifiers to both shields and constructs affect Bastion. You cannot deploy or assemble more than one Bastion shield, and Bastion cannot prevent direct hull damage. Weird. I think I go with Amp. I think I won't put too much focus into my shield at all, and just use this for the slight damage boost it provides. This seems like it has quite a potential to be a boss killer if you hit the enemy well with it. Like carrying them away and... But aiming with this thing... Okay, how do I make this thing more usable? That's pretty difficult to optimize right now. Engineer Leviathan Carrier. Carrier's probably not what I want to do. Should we try out Leviathan? Hull is pretty low at the start though. Huh. Engineer? Maybe we use allies to fire our vortex instead? That could be a thing. Damage doesn't seem to be that exciting even right now. How does this thing scale with projectile? It has projectiles, so this would would shoot out more of them. Mines are also useful with Vortex. Sounds cool. We haven't tried mines yet, so maybe we can do it this time. Let's get regen. Let's try to look for mines. There are mines. Assemble and deploy mines that detonate when an enemy is within their trigger radius. Okay. Well, these mines do decent damage. Are also not that easy to aim, but... Mine field. Your mines are all deployed at once in a cluster. +3 mine construct limit and assembly speed goes up, but hull goes down. Damage and mine effect and trigger radius go down, but they cause a chain reaction. That seems like it would improve the mines by quite a bit. Retribution. When you take a hull hit of at least 10% of your maximum hull, you automatically deploy a mine. If Retribution causes your mines to exceed your mine construct limit, an existing mine is detonated. Okay. That seems okay, but not that good. Let's go with hull strength instead for now. Loaded mines. Upon detonation, your mines fire your weapon in radial spread. The number of weapon instances produced by loaded mines is determined by your rate of fire and projectile count. For weapons that charge innately, your mines charge your weapon at 75% of your charge rate. Additionally, they constantly take damage per second and pay plus 100% charge costs. Let's try it out. Whoops, got hit by the singularity. Looks like we are gonna be fine. Do we take Retribution or do we start improving our actual... let's get volley. Ouch. That was weird. I probably should have focused on getting better starting stuff going, because these mines were really not doing so well.